Hey everybody, Prayer Priestess Eleni here, and I wanted to touch on a hot topic. Do I need to reprogram my brain, my mind, in order to manifest? Well, if there's one thing that I can help you understand in this video, probably the most important thing, is that no, you don't need to. Not to be able to manifest. You're always manifesting. Every time you think a thought, every time you speak a word, every time you set an expectation, every time you judge someone, every time you set an outcome in your mind and you're preparing for a situation, you're manifesting. You're a vibrational being. Your energy, what you vibrate, attracts like a magnet. So you do not need to reprogram your brain to manifest because you're already manifesting. And you can look around at your current situation and see what you've been manifesting, and that reflects what your inner thoughts and your belief systems are. What are you thinking about all the time? You know, we have 95,000 thoughts a day. Do you think that you're aware of all 95,000 thoughts a day? I know that I'm certainly not. And a lot of them are just us planning ahead for things, setting expectations. We're conditioned by the time we're 7 years old, when our brain is in theta, about what's possible and what's not possible. And our subconscious mind works to keep that in check. It works to keep us in that what we say is possible. It wants to show us all the time, validate that for us. So what does that mean? Exactly. So I don't need to reprogram my brain to be able to manifest, but what if I don't like what I'm manifesting? Well, then you might have some reprogramming to do. But it's not this daunting task like, sitting down and rewiring a whole computer or rewriting all the codes. It's changes in perspective and shifting, because yes, you will find teachers who will teach you how to manifest even without changing your current belief system. But what happens there is, if you haven't changed your belief system and it doesn't align, and you truly don't feel worthy of having abundance, of having wealth, yeah, you might manifest something, but odds are it's going to go away and drop back to that gauge of your comfort zone, of where your limits are. It's kind of like a temperature setting gauge, right? If it gets too high, it'll drop down and get cold. You get too cold, it levels back up. You kind of always stay in one level zone. A lot of people face this, especially when demonstrating prosperity. You might people come into money, right? They come into some money, but then they get right back to the level where they were. You see that happen a lot with lottery winners. People will win an exorbitant amount of money and then end up bankrupt or back to the same starting situation in which they began. And that's because their mindset, their belief system has almost like a glitch. It doesn't even up. It doesn't align. They don't vibrate in the same frequency. We're vibrating all the time, and we're like magnets attracting the frequency that we put out. So if you want to manifest and keep big desires, you have to look at your inner belief systems. So, there's a lot of talk, people want to know, they ask me all the time, Eleni, is that, like, how hard is it to do reprogramming work? Well, it's all about honesty. It's about letting go of baggage and realizing that the only truth is harmony. The more harmonious you are, the less gossip and judging and drama that's going on in your life, the less you're vibrating to those kinds of things, the more peaceful you are, the more you allow these things to come into your life. If you're demonstrating happiness, if you're exuding happy vibrations, joyful expectancy, then you're allowing those things to come in easily to you. But if you're constantly, you want to demonstrate money, but you're constantly worrying about money next week and the month after that, and what am I going to do then? You're keeping yourself limited. So in order to break that, the key is seeing where things are misaligned for you, seeing the areas in which your life doesn't look the way that you want it to look, and thinking about, how do I think about those areas in my life? What kind of thoughts am I thinking about them all day long? And when you break it down, it's really a lot easier than some people would expect it to be. You know, there are a lot of tools. My company, Caliteros, we have 2 different programs, one called Builder's Blocks, and that one really gets into deep-seated trauma. If you have old belief systems that are still harming you today, you find yourself in a victim mentality, a lot of bad things are always happening. This is a really good one to kind of learn to take your power back. That's a good term for it, take your power back kind of course. And then there's our Universal Law Master Course. Master Course is phenomenal. It is understanding what it means to be a vibrational being. Yeah, you've all heard of the law of attraction. Movies like The Secret made that wildly popular, but there are 12 laws altogether. And if you understand how they all work, and you understand how to change your perspective, your life starts to flow with ease and grace. So it just takes some dedication and awareness to truly reprogram your mind. But again, if you want to deliberately create things in your life and you want to keep them, you have to make sure that inside you feel worthy of them. Now, am I saying, you know, that you can never have a bad day? You can't have low vibrations, because you'll hear all that stuff too. The power of positivity. And, you know, you just heard me say that harmonious will help you manifest. And that is so true. But there are techniques. If you have a bad day, some life happens, something a manifestation showed up for you that you realize that you took part in creating. Accountability is huge with deliberate creating. You got to be accountable for what you're putting out into the world, because it's coming back. But if something shows up and you know life is happening, there are techniques to revise situations that aren't ideal, to revise manifestations that we're not pleased with. And, you know, I have all the tools for that as well. But you don't have to think happy thoughts all the time to manifest your desires. It helps. It helps if you trust life, you know, but that's where the reprogramming comes in. A lot of us have had experiences in life that make us perhaps feel that certain things aren't possible, that the world is not a safe place. And with that kind of outlook, it'll be very difficult to maintain the types of larger desires that people tend to typically look to manifest. Love, soulmate, wealth, you know, the house, the car, the things, the bling. So I just kind of felt the need to hop on, because I see so many people talk about this and really want to understand this. So you're always vibrating, you're always manifesting, and if your belief systems don't align with what you're trying to manifest, yeah, you might be able to sit down and really use scripting and visualization to create specific things for yourself, but there's a good chance that you won't be able to hold on to them because your belief systems don't line up to it. They don't match. So it'll be fleeting and then frustrating, and you can see how that cycle, and maybe you've already been experiencing that, right? Something good comes in and then it goes away. Again, belief system work. And reprogramming, not as scary as it sounds. It's really just being honest, being accountable, being forgiving, being loving. And there are a lot of different tools to help you do that and help you learn how to live a more harmonious life. You know, you shall know the truth and it shall make you free. Well, if the truth is harmony and living harmoniously, then you're vibrating with harmony. You're attracting things that flow with harmony. And you're free. Free from what? Bondage of limitation. If you're flowing freely with harmony and abundance and prosperity and all your divine rights are flowing to you, good health, then you are truly a limitless being. And it becomes easier to create when you're not in a state of frustration, when you're not in a state of debt or illusion of lack. If you're not in those illusions and you're flowing with harmony, you realize that life is a dance. You've been given the power of creation. That's manifestation is the power of creation, and it happens with our thoughts. So if you don't think your thoughts are getting you what you want, and the gauge for that is what's happening in the world around you, then yeah, you need to dedicate a little time to you, a little time to evaluating, a little time to doing some work and changing your perspective and changing how you think about the world. When you change the way you look at the world, what you look at changes. And that's so true. All right, my friends, hope that brought some clarity to you. Such just a hot topic. When I just, you know, when people look at manifesting like it's something they need to learn how to do, you don't need to learn how to do it. You just need to learn how to be deliberate with it and to make sure that you're aligning with what you want instead of repelling it. Yeah, let's attract what we want. It's attraction for a reason, not repulsion, right? So if you're wanting, like I mentioned earlier, if you know you're looking to manifest an increase in income, but you're thinking about worried about next month's bills, and it's about staying in the moment, staying in the now, and a trusting factor that you are a creator, trusting in yourself and a creator. And you can look around and see how good of a creator you've been so far, especially when you're like, oh gosh, yeah, I do think like that, and look at what it's showing me. And just as easily you can shift, and just as quickly new change can start for you. Okay, my friends, blessed be. Have a most beautiful day. Bye.